Hello, model railroaders. It's Dave. Welcome to the layout. Tonight, a little bit of programming finale, I guess. I've been in programming mode and doing some speed matching, and the finale, I guess, of all that effort is a 6 loco lash up pulling 81 tanker cars with propane, chemical, bud cars, or beer can cars, I guess. I've heard them referenced as both. And then oil cars giving 82 with the caboose at the end. So we'll get that train running. A little bit of rearrangement going on in the yard, though my shift of focus, or procrastination as it may be, has just highlighted the fact that I need to get back on finishing up these panels in these 3 modules, because doing the switching in the yard on my knees, throwing the tortoises under the layout by hand, is definitely not enjoyable. So this week I believe I'll be getting back on that. But first I want to take you over to the programming track and just show you what I'm using with the sound locos and everything else. So I've got a DCS 100 unit that I actually use in run mode and programming on the main. I use JRMI, the free Java-based software, and I find that works very well. I've had no issues. The Soundtrax PTB 100 for a booster, and using the Digitrax PR3. Now the PR3 lets me switch from the programming track to the programming on the main. And being able to program on the main, I can do speed matching, so I just set the throttle, say, at 60, and I shoot for 60 miles an hour by adjusting the speed table at the high end and doing a forced end match. So I've got a linear slope from left low to right high, and that's pretty much all I do. You'll see in the middle here I've got a lifelike F unit that I'm just evaluating on whether I put a decoder in or not. I need to run it on DC to see how well it actually runs and make that determination. I like the steel shell. I've always liked that of the lifelike F units. Or, pardon me, model power. I am corrected. It is a model power unit, not a lifelike. The switchers I have are the lifelikes. That's where I'm getting my thought process skewed. So I've got another CP model power F unit and a couple of a Bachmann A B unit, though with the plastic gears I'm not feeling that fussy about getting that converted to DCC. So I think that's just going to end up being a wall hanger along with the dummy unit there for the B unit. But let's head over to the layout again. A new to me acquisition is a Kato E89 VIA engine. I do have the second VIA engine pending its decoder installed, though for pulling the 10-car set, I don't really need the two engines, but this is the first time since I've had the decoder installed that I did last week that I've actually had the full set out to run. So we'll get that going tonight, as well as the MU'd lash up here. So let's two of the Caddy unit and the Southern Pacific unit are both sound with the Digitrax sound decoder inside. I seem to have a love-hate relationship with sound decoders. Both of those units, and it's not dirty track, believe me, because units will stop dead and then they'll pick right back up again. If it was dirty track, they would not stop dead and then start again. So I'm very sure that even the Digitrax decoders do have an overheating problem, and it is very intermittent and very frustrating. So I may end up yanking the motors out of both of those units and making them as dummy sound locos. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. So I'm going to get this running, and I'm just going to use about a speed setting 50 on the throttle. I have not gone through and adjusted all the couplers on the locos or the cars to ensure good height matching. So based on the drag, at some point there may be a decoupling occur. But this is the second goal that I had. The first was having the long coal car train, and this being a really long tanker train. Now on the top level I will end up putting in a refinery. I've got it built. It's just a matter of sorting out my track plan and finishing the bench work. See, there's that one sound decoder kicking out. Now right now I probably have about 27 locos on the layout, with a fair number of them, well, as in 10, being sound locomotives. So that's another task I wanted to do, was actually stress the layout before I added in the upper level and determine, was I going to need a booster for the upper level or not, by running multiple sound units. They're both have kicked out. Oh, one's going, the other one's kicked out. And it does seem, even when they're cold, they're kicking out, and there is no room for the capacitor to be jammed in without milling out the frame. And unless I do a keep alive in a trailing car, which when the loco is in the middle of an MU, it's kind of not possible. So I'm thinking more and more that I may just pull the motors out of both of those two units, put a resistor across where the motor would go to allow programming, set the speed table to 0, and just give it an identical road number to, say, that 5780 in the lead there, and that way the horns and everything else will work on the unit. But we'll get a shot of the trailing cars. So we're just under 28 feet long. We're just turning the end of the layout there and about 3 feet in here, so probably about 26 feet or so. Now I need to find my throttle for I can spin you around, and we got to get that via passenger train out of the way. Now I'm not going to there we go. Attempt to run 3 locos tonight. That's just a little too much. I need to get a buddy over and give that a try in running multiple. But the goal is to have at least 4 mainline locos running once the top level is done. There is much track in the helix going up and down, as there will be mainline both top and bottom of the layout. So it's nice to see that Cato unit running nice and smooth. And here's the end of our tanker train. So we'll have to do a little bit of shuffling around on the siding, get the steam loco and the Santa Fe loco off so I can fit this long tanker train in. Now it's working pretty good on the flat here now, but I do know that I'm going to have to break 3 locos off and put them probably about 2/3 of the way down the tanker train for it to successfully navigate up the helix. That's just too much drag, and I know with the coal car experiencing all the tribulations of getting that working smoothly, that it just needs to have helper locos halfway down. The drag is just too great with the pitch of the 1.7% grade and the curvature of the track. It's just way too great. So this is what I've been working on over the last week. I hope you have been able to work on your layout, and will continue to do so as this week progresses. Well, it's too hot and muggy outside to be out there. Better to be in the nice cool basement. So with this, I'll say goodbye, and we'll see you on the next video.